Hello, this is Barbara Menino, and I'm here once again on a, a challenge. The hashtag It's Your Time challenge. And each day of this challenge, I will be given topics or story starters to prepare a video or a Facebook Live. Today's topic is I felt alone, totally alone. And I'm digging deep to find a time that I would want to talk about. We've all had the feeling of aloneness at some times, and a lot of times these times arise out of disappointment or loss. And for me, the one I'm going to speak about is a time of loss. And it was the time many years ago when my mom died. Um, and the structure of it, I'm an only child, and my father had died a long time ago. He was only 58. My mother died when she was almost 87. So I had her for a lot of years. But when she did die, despite the fact that I have a wonderful husband, Ross, and two wonderful adult children, Keith and Meredith, my Clementine, my granddaughter, um, wasn't yet born at that time. Uh, I felt truly alone. I was without parents. I was an orphan. And so it was sad, especially because my mother and I were extremely close. And in many ways, she was my role model. She was fun and full of piss and vinegar. She was serious, committed to any task she took on, whether it was a community project, a civic project, her work, or any relationship she had with a friend or family member. She had this wonderful range of personalities, from fun to serious and sensitive. And she was resilient. She was vulnerable too. She felt things. And she was thrown a number of curveballs in life that affected her deeply. But in each of those cases, she showed incredible resilience and managed to warrior on, even at the most difficult of times. The death of my father when he was 58, she was only 54. Her breast cancer at 72. Her declining health in the last months of her life. And even looking back to the days before I was around, but stories that I'd heard from her, when her sister died, when her brother was in war, when she was the person that kind of was the glue that held the family together. So there were always these stories of fun, challenges, and resilience. She was definitely not a why me person. She was fearless. Even though there were some funny things, she hated airplanes. She wasn't much of a traveler, and she didn't like to drive on highways. In fact, when she did drive on highways, as she approached the toll booth, and these were more before the days of Easy Pass, she tooted to let everyone know she was coming. So when she died, she was so much of part of my life. I certainly felt alone. In fact, the first person I wanted to talk to unburden myself was my mom. And I was faced with the harsh reality that she wasn't there. I remember going back to work after her passing and being at lunch in a New York restaurant with some friends. And New York, as exciting a place it is, it can be a real place of aloneness. And that's how I felt in those days when I went back to work. And I remember being at this restaurant and sort of out of nowhere starting to cry. And my friend sitting next to me, taking my hand and just gently holding it and letting me cry till I worked it out. I was very grateful for friends like that woman, Sue, but still, I had to work out my aloneness on my own. And I found that I kept a lot of stuff inside, which is uncharacteristic of me, but maybe this time it was for a reason. Because interestingly, it was my work that saved me, not so much that it caused me to refocus some, but because my work as a journalist, a marketing writer, a content writer is all about storytelling. I have been writing stories for years. And it was in the process of writing those stories for other people that I began to turn to myself and dig deep to find my own stories and really pull the string and remember all the stories my mom had told me when I was a kid. Remember all that I'd watched her go through as a grown woman, all that I'd watched her rise above. And slowly but surely, those stories gave me strength, which led me to a new awareness about life and business, because stories are wonderful and they were told around the campfire way back in prehistoric times. And they've always been a way to resonate with people, to help people remember, to help people carry on memories from generation to generation. And in business, we talk about story as a magic tool that connects us with others, that attracts clients, that helps us grow our businesses and make money. But I think sometimes we forget about the power that stories have for ourselves, for us, the storytellers. Because I believe the more that we tell our stories, the deeper we dig to find them, the more joy we find in them, the more resilience, and the more empowerment. And in business, you need that. You need that sense of empowerment, that which leads to a positive mindset to show up. And in life, you need it to show up well for others. And with our empowerment comes an ability to serve others while fulfilling our own purpose. So story not only is my business, but it saved me at a very difficult period in my life. And I'm proud of that. And I love to talk about that. And I love to share my enthusiasm about story. And I love to show how they can help each of us in business and in life. So if story has been something that you've been thinking about as a means to improve your communication with others, as a means to attract clients in business, do reach out. You can reach me through direct message on Facebook, or reach out to me at barbara@barbaramenino.com and use the slug story. I'll put all that in the chat. Thanks so much for listening. And remember, stories are magic. They're the connective tissue that binds us with others. And they're also tools, wonderful tools, through which we can empower ourselves.